Swys, Jacques from the Star, welcome to your first presser. I suppose the big thing, Swys, is to continue, where the Lions left off. Obviously not losing a final, but, that same brand of rugby and just continue. And how difficult or how challenging is that going to be with a fairly new coaching staff around you as well?
Yeah, firstly, Jock, thanks for the opportunity, man, and thanks to Rudolph and Kevin and all the guys, Altman, who had the trust in me. So without them, I just want to thank them. But before we start, Jock, can you hold that question? Can I just ask them, the management, just to come out and introduce you to everyone that's involved, please? Joey, kan julle nie Jokey, Moesh, Cash, James. I think I spoke to Rudolph. It's just important from my side that these are the guys that's really the unsung heroes behind the thing for the last 5 years, and I thought it will be appropriate to we really start with them. JP is standing there now, and Cash and Mush, but and Joey, they've been long with us, but I'll start quickly here with JP Ferreira. You all know JP. JP was with the Springboks already. He was with the A side. His stats speak for themselves. We did very, very well with our defence stats. So it's fantastic to have JP in the Currie Cup around. We are giving him more the responsibility of attack as well. So as a relatively young guy, but been long in the business, it's nice to have JP going forward. Then Mushi is our manager for about since 1982. If I look at him, Mushi is absolutely a fantastic manager. We work together very closely. He's the guy who collected me at the airport 5 years ago, where our friendship started. So it's fantastic to have Mushi on board. Then the reason why we relatively fit, or try to be fitter than the rest, we've got our trainer, Ivan Cash, Van Rooyen. The Cash is because he got so much money, I believe. No. He's, you can tell us the Cash story later, but Ivan is a very experienced trainer. Sports scientist, all the degrees that you need in that direction. So the reason for our fitness is definitely the last 5 years already. There's the reason. Then the guy that's been here the longest, Jokey, Joinky. Joey is absolutely a role model to every one of us. On tour, when you're a bit down, wherever you go, Joey is the one that picks you up, and he's sort of the backbone and the glue behind everything. So it's fantastic. Jantjie, jy's 'n eysterhou maat, en is lekker om jou altyd by ons te hê. Then Ram, he does the rubbing. That's why they're so agile and can move around. And Ram, you've been around for 5 years now. And then Prev joined us 2 years ago, Prev?
Last year.
Last year, it feels like longer. But Prev is a brilliant physio in his own right. So Prev, nice to have you as well. So guys, it's an honor for me to work with these guys, and I can only be as strong as these guys around me. And then, if I can start on my left here, what's here, Esther? He just had a very good defence session. He'll take over the defence in the Currie Cup now from JP. We'll tend more to the attacking side and the backline side. So he was the winner of the under-19s last year, the coach. So you've got all that experience, and we thought it will be a very good thing to move him up, to bring all that wealth of experience with you. So welcome. And then Shorty on my right, Victor Matfield. I've been very honoured to work many years with him. We started our run at Greek Quiz in 1999. 1999. Tuckies didn't really want Oak, I don't know why. And not even talking about the Bulls. And then he spent 2 years there with us. Within 2 weeks, I asked him to do the line-outs, those years at Greek Quiz, and he became Springbok in Kimberley and played for the Cats, and then he moved to the Bulls. So it's a very similar story we had with Akkers, that if you're a lock and you played for Greek Quiz, there's a good chance we work together. So when we had the chance to bring Victor in for this stage as a forward consultant, baie welkom ons ou maat, and may God bless you with us as well. I think that's a lot. Sorry about that for that long one for starters, but it's important. Dankie julle.
Going back,
sorry, John.
Just the challenges facing your new coaching team, and that is it. I suppose the Currie Cup gives you a nice platform to grow a bit and develop and settle a bit.
Yes, it does. Look, with our sponsors, Xerox and everyone, the Currie Cup is still very important for us. The guys must know it. So we are really taking it serious. We did turn the clock to this morning or Monday morning back to 0 because it's a new management and there's some new players. So it's very exciting, but we do take the Currie Cup very seriously.
Swys, Heinz from the Citizen. This year in Super Rugby, your selection policy was reasonably consistent, actually, and it's probably understandable given that you guys really wanted to try and win this title. So, is there perhaps a sense that there's even more emphasis on building depth in this Currie Cup for next year, given that there might be a bit of a transitional period coming up?
Yes, yeah, it's a bit of both, definitely. We've got to use the opportunity to develop new future stars, as you will see on the team sheet as well. And you still want your consistency. The stuff that we did start, you don't want to change too much. We want to build it and definitely see it as for both.
So I've seen that you've played the Sharks 3 times this year. I suppose you didn't have to do much research this week or anything. I mean, what sort of challenge are they going to pose?
Definitely a very strong challenge. Watching them last night, we did see a very good side. They quite comfortably beat the Bulls at Loftus. So they're a side that sort of settled. They played with a lot of their Super Rugby players in that side. So we see a definite tough challenge for us ahead on 7:30 come Saturday.
So it's Liam from the Times Media. What areas of your game do you think you want to develop in Currie Cup with an eye on Super Rugby next year?
Liam, definitely to polish our brand even further, because we're not going to deviate from that. The plan is to carry on. We still need a good line out. We still need a very good defensive system with a good scrum. And from there we'll play our brand. So not too many changes there. We might tweak here and there. It will be foolish now to break this whole house down. Maybe just add a new tint on one of the windows or something.
Swys, Rudolph from the Citizen. The Lions have already lost 2 out of 3. Do you feel that there's already pressure on the new coaching team, like you call it?
Rudolph, we see it really just as a challenge, no pressure whatsoever. We've got the backing from our CEO that we... Van Rudolph, kan ek jou maar Rudolph noem? Of Dolph. No, we've got his backing 100%, we don't want any pressure on us. That will be unfair to start a competition with sort of behind on a system. It's not fair to add pressure. We just want to keep on playing the way we want to play. We want to inspire people, we want to praise God, and we want to score tries. That's what we want to do. No changes as far as that as well.
So, can you or Rudolph even just tell us some more about Ruan Ackerman's situation? We didn't, there wasn't much clarity from the Lions side about Akker van der Merwe leaving. Just tell us who is still available, who is left, and that sort of thing, please.
Jack would love to answer that, but can I pass it to Rudolph, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Jack, definite Akker van der Merwe was obviously, you saw him already last night. The Bulls, and unfortunately these things happen quite quickly. There's been a request from Ruan to be released, and we're in the process. We haven't signed any documents. Obviously going with a more or less a family decision, taking the whole family to Gloucester. So we're looking into it, and we will let you know as soon as that's possible. Then probably a press release will come out. But there's been a lot of speculation. And there's been such a request, but we haven't officially released him yet.
Are there any other players who maybe might put in a request to be released or anything at this stage?
No, there's no releases. There's been a request from the Southern Kings to loan some players, and there might be some players that we will release for them to play in the Pro 14. But there will also be official press release on that.
Victor Vata from Independent. Does it feel as if you've sort of come full circle, considering that you started your Super Rugby career playing for the Cats here?
Yeah, I must say it's almost deja vu. I still remember as a 21-year-old getting a call from Swys to come join him in Griquas, and having all the respect playing against him as under 21 coach back then. And yeah, when he called me again now and said, listen, will you have a look at joining us just felt right. I also think the culture that's here at the Lions is fantastic to walk in. And for me as a young coach now, at last I'm young again, I think I can just come and learn a lot. I think they've achieved quite a bit over the last few years, and I'm here to learn, and hopefully I can add something to what they're doing, and hopefully we can add a little bit on and get better as well.
How difficult has it been for you to divorce your emotions, having spent so many years in Victoria to now be here?
I've probably been divorced with them for 2 years now, so yeah, it's just the next step in the right direction, I think.
With Christopher from Beeld, I suppose a few Blue Bull fans will be very nauseous tomorrow morning when they see you in the red. When they open their papers, they see the picture. Just sort of, obviously in the modern era, that's the way things go. You're with one team for maybe your life, and then you switch to somebody else. But your feelings on having to leave your Blue Bulls and join the Lions?
Yeah, I think I've been with the Bulls for years, and I always have a special place in my heart for the Bulls. But like I said, I'm a young, new coach, and this is a new opportunity for me. With people, if anyone has asked me with which head coach in South Africa would you have wanted to coach, it's Swys, because that's where I learned a lot of my rugby as a young player as well, and my rugby career turned out pretty good. So hopefully coaching-wise it can be the same. I'm only consulting for now, but hopefully there's a future after this Currie Cup, and we'll see how it develops.
How have you found the youngsters and so on that you've already worked with, or the players that you've worked with already? I mean, I know guys like Frank and Mostert are missing at the moment, but just your thought to the group?
Oh, again, I think the culture is so healthy here. Firstly, the respect everyone's got for each other, the way they treat each other, and then the work ethic on the field. It's just fantastic to see the intensity they train with, and like I said, I'm still learning from how they do things, just feeling out how things work, but I must say I've had 2 days here now, and it's been very enjoyable.
Joey, the Currie Cup has been a tri-festival. Do you see this as you having your hands full, or is everybody in the same boat, all the defence coaches?
I want to first say thank you for asking me a question. I thought I was going to get a TFC. Thanks for coming. So we spoke the other day in the week. We said as defence coaches, Jay Paul said the same thing. We hate thrillers. We don't want 45, 34 sort of victories. And the Lions is a pride union, and you can see a team's character through their defence. So we're hoping now the fantastic system that JP's put in place, and if I can add my little mix to it, that you'll see our scores, that Swys and them will keep scoring tries, and then we'll limit them to as few points as possible. So we go to game day not expecting to concede at all.
Victor, maybe just some of your thoughts on what your philosophy about coaching is. A few years ago when you're playing towards the end of your career, many people were saying you already then played a big role in helping and almost coaching the Springboks as almost like a player-coach kind of a guy. But, and you were seen as somebody with a very good rugby brain. And what is your philosophy on the game? How you want to sort of coach here?
Yeah, I think if we go back then, 2012, I was the forwards and attack coach of the Bulls when we made the semi-finals and we lost against the Brumbies at home. 2013-14 was very difficult, where I was actually still attack coach and a forwards coach, and I tried to play as well. So that was a tough time for me as well, to try and to do both. But like I said, I've got rugby in my blood. I love the game. I love the people in it. So yeah, hopefully there's a bright future. But even with the Springboks as a senior player, we were really very involved in how we played, on the way we wanted to do things. So I've been coaching a few years probably, and but this is a new beginning for me. Like I said, if this was at the Bulls, I know so much about what they're doing. Yeah, I'm here firstly to learn and see how they do things, and hopefully I can just add a little bit of my favour to that as well.
Any more questions?
Joey, do you feel as if, just adding on to what Liam had said, the Currie Cup is a tri-fest. How difficult does it be for you guys to strike a balance between being able to embrace that attacking rugby, but also making sure that your defence is rock solid?
Our motive for defending is different, but we defend to try and get the ball back so we can score tries. So on the one hand, yes, we want to score as many as possible, but then keep them to a few. So to get that right, obviously we've got to look after the ball ourselves. That's one aspect we look at. We've challenged guys individually to make sure that everyone in the system, we've spoken about putting soldiers to make sure they do their job in that system. So we feel that if our system's good enough, JP's been putting it together for the last 5 years, so if we can just get the individuals to function to their best of the capacity within that system, then we should be okay. But high scores should be only on the one side, not on the defensive side. They really hurt when we get tries scored against us. So just know that I'm not too excited about thrillers from the defensive side.
I just want to add there, if I may, Joey, the way we're doing defence and attack is very interlinked. For the last few years, with JP, who was the defence coach, and is going to move more to the attack now. It's just a part of moving around a bit, so to give Joey the fair chance on defence. But JP will be very, very involved from the whole attacking side of things, and I think it's good for him and his growth as a coach as well.
Do you think that's something that should be encouraged in South African rugby as a whole? I know the All Blacks coaches a few years ago all swap their roles around. Would you advocate for that?
Yeah, Liam, personally, I think it's a very good system. If you take a young coach like JP, who's got a bright future, I think for him this is a great opportunity to move from defence more into attacking role. And we debate, the four of us will debate all this stuff, and then giving him a chance to start growing as a brilliant young defence coach. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Maybe just to add to Swys, I think that's where South African rugby's gone wrong in identifying succession planning and getting assistant coaches to become head coaches. And that's the reason why we've gone the system, looking at our own system, looking towards our own growth of our own individual coaches and growing it by adding one or two extra from outside. But I think it's the growth of our own looking within. I've always said our appointments are going to be within. And now it's happened, and now we've got to support them and make sure that they grow.
Just on, you've now been called a consultant in a way, but what exactly does that? Are you going to be at every practice? How exactly is this going to be?
No, it happened very quickly actually. The decision. So I still got responsibilities with where I've been the last 2 years with Volkswinkel, and they've really looked after me after rugby. There's always a problem with players finishing off, getting into a new career, and they were just fantastic helping me into that. So I'm still involved with them, so I'll be here 2 days in the week, and I'll be at the games as well. So I'm not full-time, but I'm here enough to do my job.
So are you at all concerned maybe about the stature of Currie Cup rugby? People talk about it being watered down, people talk about it being a developmental step for Super Rugby side franchises. Is there any concern from your side that the competition stuff might be watered down?
Yeah, no, it is. You can argue that way. For me, and when I started with Griquas those years, the Currie Cup was the paramount. It was so important. The rest was almost bonus. So with the system and stuff, especially with us at the Lions now, what happened with the Super Rugby, the fact that we made the finals, you can argue that we're starting with a disadvantage, but I see it much more as opportunity. But you'll see with the Currie Cup as it grows, it carries on and comes to semis and stuff, the people come back again. And I hope it stays. Honestly, I hope the Currie Cup stays an important part of us, especially with fewer teams and stuff, strength versus strength. But it is a fact. It has been watered down a bit, but we don't want that. I don't know, Rudolph. I don't want that. I want the Currie Cup to stay very important to us.
I think Swys is right. The competition structure is important in South Africa. We've had a few meetings. We're trying to get it right. Obviously, with this Pro 14, Pro 12, giving 2 teams opportunity to go north. We just got to make sure that our Super Rugby and our Currie Cup doesn't overlap like it's been overlapping. Make sure that we've got enough time. Super Rugby finishes early, then we have the incoming tours, and then you have Currie Cup, so that we get that time span and competitions not overlapping. Not good for sponsors, not good for commercial, not good for the players. But hopefully by next year that will be sorted.
So it's just something on the captain. Has Ryan been appointed now for the entire season, or is it just?
We will make that final call. Ryan is a great standing guy. I was very fortunate to coach him as well in 3-4 years, even more years at the Sharks. And at the moment he's a standing captain for us, and when all the other guys come back, Jacques van Rijn and Kwach and those guys, we will make a calculated call. But at the moment I've got enough respect for him and the team with his experience. He plays I think how many tests, 25 about, if I'm more or less like that, and he, he's very experienced. And the other thing is Victor knows him very well. He's a Springbok as well, Ryan. So there's a bit of continuity. So although he's new in the system, we thought it was, with his experience, it'll be good for him to take the leadership. He did it well up to now for us.